Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Alliance's Performance Shop, along with Mopars.com, trying to get the shop cleaned up, which means opening new tools and throwing the packages away. And some of the stuff I've needed to get going for quite a while. So we're going to jump in here. This one will be more of an assortment, if you will. And what we have is from Maddox. This is something I had it locked up in one of the boxes, and time to get it out. So I am thrilled to have this, and I say that if you've watched the Ram Revival maybe, or some of the older stuff, when I had like test leads, all right, one of two things happened, okay? Number one, I've got like a 500 foot spool of 16 gauge gray. I would sometimes have that, sometimes it was blue. And I would just cut it to length, you know, and sort of like terminate where I needed to. And the other thing that I would do is I would take those cheap, you can get them all over the place, like white, green, yellow, I think black might be in there, red, like 5 primary colored test leads. You get like, I don't know, 2 or 4 of each one, and they're probably like yay long. And I just clip them together and off we go to our end destination if we can make it. And when we were troubleshooting some stuff on the truck, that's when I was like, man, I really just need to bite the bullet and pick those up. And this was relatively new at that point in time. In 1999, I wrote that there so I wouldn't forget, is the MSRP. I think we got these, it was either instant savings or we got 20% off on them. So pretty solid buy, especially considering you can essentially get the same thing off a tool truck for considerably more. But it's really just, it's a test lead. It is what it is. You got positive, you got negative, you got power and ground, whatever you want to call it, black and red. You can invert and flip, do you. But this is 30 feet, all rolled up into one small coil. So hoping that it turns out well for me. It's going to be retractable test leads that will stay at the desired length. Hopefully that's the case. It will rewind in the protective case, which is way better than what I've been doing, which is having to wad those back up and put them in a tray or a storage case. And it is 18 gauge if that's a concern to you. I'm not sure, like what the trucks sell or what other brands have, but obviously voltage drop can become an issue. Depends what you're working on, how far you're going. I'm sure in this case they think 15 feet on either side, 18 is sufficient. 2 different colors wires for easy identification, used for testing electrical circuits in automotive vehicles, trailers, boats, and more. It looks like to unwind, you pull both leads of the end of the wire, and to rewind, you hold top and rotate the bottom. So we'll play around with that once they're free. Here on the back side, we have got some more information. Eliminates the need for a second person, or never have one anyway. Retractable test leads that stay at the desired length. Rewinds into the case. 18 gauge color-coded alligator clips. Black and red. 10 amps unwound, 6 amps wound. And right there again, 15 feet on either side. So, I just realized we have a problem. The Cutix is sadly, I was using it to trim some masking tape before I painted, so it is not available to me. And my cheap box cutter will have to be summoned into service. Haven't had this guy out in a while. This is the Task Force from the 90s. Let's, again, right here is a time where you'll want to be careful. I am assuming that this would be fully retracted. I've never actually owned anything like this. And just like that, they're open. That was a complete pain in the butt to get these things opened up. But what I was concerned about, having never owned anything like this, I was hoping that this was sealed, but I wasn't sure. So you have to be really careful with your knife in the unknown. You do not, if this was open, you could easily come in, slit like the 10-foot mark, and you just render these things useless. So looking at them again, we've got 18 gauge black and red. They've got the boots. There's 2 kinds of alligator clips, not big and little, but there's the ones that are like easy to articulate. There's the ones that are just like concrete stiff. These ones are pretty user friendly in terms of that, so hopefully they stay put. So they claim you just pull out. What am I doing wrong here? Well, so you're gonna need to hold it right here. I was hoping it was an internal mechanism, but it's more like a cassette tape. So we'll just string it out. We'll say that far. That got us what we needed. And to rewind, that's all we do. So it's basically like you're going back to the 80s with these. Like I said, I truly never owned anything like this, so this learning experience, now we know it's basically a cassette tape. And good to see that technology back in service. All right, so $19.99, those should be really, really nice if you've got them. How long have you had them? Have you had any issues? How do they compare with more expensive offerings? Do you find them to be the same thing? Do you like these better? Are the more expensive ones, do they offer longer lengths, thicker wire, different rewind mechanism, whatever it might be? Let me know your thoughts on that front. We're going to come in now. We'll actually stick with the electrical theme here. How about that? This is from Chicago Electric. It is item 69060. It'll set you back $549 when you don't get it on sale. I think we got this for like $4. And, it is a 30-watt, 120-volt soldering iron. And you're thinking like, what? Surely you have a soldering iron. Oh, we do. We have this exact thing from long, long, long ago when Chicago Electric soldering irons were orange. And so if you're thinking like, well, what's the deal? Did you break it? Did it give out on you? Was it junk? Why would you buy another one? Well, true story. I am not concerned about this thing soldering, all right? We've recently, I guess not recently now, but we've been doing some plastic welding, and of course we bought the plastic welding kit. This is a thing where I'm honestly not sure that this wouldn't work a little bit better for some of the plastics. It's kind of a lower heat, like with that, you kind of like get going and you're off to the races, right? I think this, since we don't have like a Harbor Freight does not have a high-end kit where you can dial in your temperature, per se. So with this, we're kind of limited to what this can crank out, which is 30 watts, and I'm kind of the mindset that it might be good to have. So they call it featherweight iron. I will agree with that. This thing is stupid light. Pencil handle for delicate soldering jobs. Again, I do like that, and I also like this guard here to hopefully keep my hand away from the hot part. Let's see. Solder pin stand keeps the hot iron off your work surface. This is the exact same setup. It's that little black card. You'll see it here in a second. Nickel plated copper tip. Not sure if it comes with replacement tips or not. But again, I'm really not concerned with this as a soldering iron. I'm just wanting to use it to plastic weld. So this is exactly like my orange one. It's just black. So that springs into place. This comes out, it's even got the same retaining mechanism, and obviously if you're curious how that stand works, it works like that. So $549 for either a backup soldering iron or a good plastic welder. I can't really argue with that one, so we're gonna cross our fingers and hope it does good. Coming in next, let's just go this route. When I walked in the store, I did not plan to buy these, but they were there on an end cap as I was trying to check out. And, I don't think I'd actually seen this assortment before. These are, we've got two different assortments. This is 63280. It's from Storehouse. It's a 20-piece clamp. I'm not a fan really of gear worm clamps. I prefer different styles, but sometimes you gotta have what you gotta have, and it's nice to have them because sometimes they get you by in a pinch, right? So this is a 20-piece set. This is for larger sizes. As you can see, water hoses, air intake, specialty fittings. I do like that it's stainless. Hopefully it's both ends. This claims that it has 4 1-inch clamps, 2 1 1/4, 2 1 3/4, 4 2-inch, 2 2.5, 2 3-inch, 2 3.5, and 2 4-inch. So you at least get 2 of everything. Typically with clamps, you know how it goes. It's rare that you just need one end done. Sometimes, like in a repair or emergency situation, like if you blow a radiator hose off type of a thing. But most of the time, if you're replacing anything and you're in a controlled environment, you're going to be doing 2 ends. So I was impressed that they could fit them all in here. So it's not the greatest plastic case in the world. It's one of these ones with little flip-up latches. Those will probably be gone if you secure this thing. They're not divided super well. But here she is, and I can tell right now I don't believe that that's going to be stainless like I was wanting. How can we tell for sure? We'll grab our good friend, Mr. PB Swiss. So, to prove there's no trickery, I've got stainless. I have lots of stainless. Not magnetic, right? Right here, I think the band will be stainless. But I think the fastener is, yep, you guessed it. Ideally, you know, and when I order clamps, you know, I go in all out. We get stainless hardware as well. You don't like to introduce rust into stainless, and that's one way to do it. But for the price point, again, the $549, I think that may be the instant savings price. Don't hold me to that, but this is a pretty solid little assortment. It's just got one divider here, fixed position. Again, 1 inch all the way to 4 inch. That's pretty legit. So I took one hose clamp out, and we will never get that thing to shut again, ever. Ask me how I know. This right here, same thing, although this is quite a few more clamps. Why? You guessed it probably. They're smaller sizes. So this one also $5.99. We are looking at 5 1/2 inch, 7 5/8. Again, think of your heater hoses, probably why you get so many there. 10 3/4 inch, 4 7/8 inch, 3 1 inch, 3 1 1/6. What? Okay, that's interesting. 1 1/6, 4 1 3/8, and 4 1.5 inches. So this time around, I will try not to remove one, unless it looks like we can get it for sure. If it's that type of a deal, we'll go for it. Otherwise, I'm just going to do myself a solid and make it where I can shut this in the toolbox drawer. So if you have used these, be sure to let us know in the comments section how you like them, how they rank, if they're junk, if they're garbage, if they slip off, if they strip, what have you. Now, opening this thing up, like I said, it's not exactly the most organized thing. Like if you want to find your 1 3/8 clamps, well, good luck to you, sir. It's going to take a while. But it's kind of one of those trial by error deals. Now, here we go. I'm just going to take this one right here that you can see, and I'm going to pay particular attention to the orientation. I don't know that this is stainless, sadly. Tail of the tape right here. Yeah, not stainless band. You guessed it, not stainless hardware. So that is one perk of the larger size, that they are stainless bands. And now, truth be told, you know, like most of the time, it's not going to matter at all. But for me personally, I like to run stainless. Now, given the price point on these, they're sort of just, hey, you know, if I blow a hose off somewhere in the middle of nowhere and a couple of these are in the car, well, we've done pretty good in my opinion. So sub about $5 and change for each one, I think it's a pretty worthwhile investment. If you go parts store and get them one by one, they're going to nickel and dime you. You're probably going to pay a considerable amount more for 2 of any of these sizes. So with that said, that's kind of where we stand. We've got our electrical stuff. We've got plastic welding / electrical. We've got hose clamps. Where could we possibly go now? Well, how about we go here to Icon Land, right? These are, you should recognize these. We did a pretty lengthy video on them. They are the 3-position slip joint pliers. Why are they here? You know, well, I thought you had these. What's the deal? Well, if you recall, those were a birthday gift from my mom, and I have had them at work this entire time. Are they the greatest pliers in the world? I don't know. They're pretty good. Again, this is one of the more impressive Icon pliers, in my opinion. I love the cross-hatching. It's still aggressive. I use them as much as I can, and I say that because most of what I'm doing there sort of necessitates that we use needle nose or something along those lines. But when I can, I make a point to use them. The thing is, I'm starting to kind of like at work, you know, there's NSEs everywhere and things get dirty, and they are in the bag, and you know, that I take with me to do motors and everything. But I think I'm going to bring those home and then have this as a dedicated pair there. So in terms of a 3-position slip joint plier, or any slip joint plier for that matter, I'm not sure I'd find something that I liked better for the price. Yes, I'm aware, snap-on, Talon grip, this and that, but I think I'm just going to roll with the Icons. That way I'll have the pair here, and a sort of sentimental value from my mom. I can use them here And this pair will just go to work, and it'll just be put through the paces. It'll always be there with me type of a thing. So the good news on these is when we picked them up, they were brand new, $19.99. I told you, if you're patient and you don't have to rush out and get it or try it immediately, Harbor Freight routinely comes in above. This is weird because people typically do it opposite. You'd introduce, you know, like your new sandwich for $4.99. You're like, man, people love this thing. We need to jack the price up. They do sort of the high tier price, and then a week or two later, you know, sometimes a month or two, it'll just drop down. Not a sale, not instant saving. It's just it's not $19.99 anymore. It's $18.49. It's $17.99. So if you waited on these, geez, how long have we had those? Probably like 6 to 8 weeks now. So they've been pretty dadgum good, I have to say. And that's not, don't get me wrong, we don't know what they're going to be like in 6 months or a year. But initially, based on what I've seen, I'm pretty content with them. So I'm not going to waste your time and go into details on these. Again, if you're curious about them, or if you somehow didn't know about these, check back in my older videos. You can see a long video where we go through these pretty detailed. So the good news now, if you waited, it's a price discount. Speaking of price discounts, this is something that I saw. The parking lot sale got extended, and when I ran in there Friday, I had to nab this sucker. So this will be my first Hercules battery that's got like the new color scheme. It isn't, you know, sort of the Hercules teal or blue. I want to say this was like, it's either 20 or 40 off, but the fact that it was 5 amp hour, and I want to say it was like, it's either 49 or 69, but I felt like either one of those was a good buy with the discount. So I cashed in on it. I considered getting the new Impact, you know, the hex driver. I was going to then basically bring it home because I think the lights would be better here, since I routinely do stuff after sunset or at dusk, you know, when you get home from work. And at work, I would just keep the older one there. That way I don't have to like lug them back and forth type of a deal. But this is kind of a win here. We have several Hercules accessories here where we'd be wanting a 5 amp hour. Might wind up with a few more, remains to be seen, but I could not pass that up. And we don't really need to go into too many details on it, I guess, since we've covered those before. But every once in a while, it's not always 5 amp hour. Sometimes it'll be 2.5 or 2 amp hour. Sometimes it's 8. Sometimes it's buy one, get one free. There's all sorts of promotions. And they're not often advertised with your regular sales. If you like go to the Hercules page, you'll see like the current stuff. If you keep scrolling, there's almost always something with batteries. Outside of tool packages, right? Now they're starting to finally bundle tools, batteries, and the charger like in a kit they sell. My local store didn't have that, even though it said it did. That store's kind of, yeah, you know, it's like that a lot. But this is just one of those deals where I couldn't pass it up. I'm pretty heavily invested in the Hercules line. I really still don't have any complaints with it, and this was too good of a price point for me to pass up. Now, final item, I think I'll be cleared out of Harbor Freight stuff now. This is something that was new, and I just never, ever could find it. And I don't know, maybe I had the wrong mindset. We'll see what you think. It's from Quinn. It is their part number 59-128, and it's a scraper. And here's my logic on this, okay? Like, when I saw this come out, what do I immediately think of? I think of window stickers, like state mandated to have to take off window stickers, right? And windshields, if you do this regularly, even on your own vehicles, you know, once a year, you know, once upon a time, you had some real estate, right? Now it's like the dash goes a million miles this way and the windshield goes down at more and more aggressive of an angle. It's like painful to get down in there. And if you're thinking, hey, how's that stupid thing going to help you? Well, let's see if it tells us. Well, it does right here. So comfort grip, you're thinking like, oh, dude, comfort grip. Why? Like, you know, surely just did you not have something, you know, the handle for a razor blade? Well, we did. So what does this really shine? It's right here, the second bullet point. It adjusts to 4 links. That's why I wanted this. This thing is $8.99, by the way, which I thought was a good price. It has a built-in blade storage compartment, which I did not know until I bought this, so I'm excited to check that out. Comes with some spare blades here. You get a comfort grip scraper, 2 stainless blades, a plastic blade, and a carbon steel blade. It's also a lifetime warranty. Right here, I don't guess they're going to break it down. This is where a schematic with the 4 adjustable links listed out would have been nice, but it is what it is. Comfort grip, 4 links, storage compartment. It extends to 9.5 inches, so we don't know the intervals between there, but essentially from this form factor to 9.5 inches. I'm not sure if that's going to be handle included. I wouldn't think so, so I'm thinking that that goes 9.5, unless we'll see. I'll open it up and we'll find out. But that is why we bought this thing. Again, what threw me off so bad, I saw this on the website and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna grab that. That's a really good price. I like the color scheme. You know, I was thinking of the windshield. I think I just done a window sticker. Is probably why I had it on my mind and decided it was a good deal. But here's the deal. Here is the kicker. I assumed, kind of like the icon scrapers, you know, I thought, okay, well, if I go to that like automotive end, you know, I know the stores pretty well. I was thinking this would be like by the engine brushes, because I'm thinking like, okay, people are going to use this for stickers. Some people might use it for like gaskets and stuff to kind of scrape them clean. And be danged, I could never find it. Now, my store very well could have just like gotten this in or something stupid. But this was a situation, if you go over to the paint section, and I've been in the paint section because I get some of the chip brushes, right, you know, when we're doing big projects. That's where this thing was. Blew my mind. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's why they're stock full. They probably no one else can find them either. So I guess you could totally work it that way. Now, interesting thing here, be careful. There is not, unless it came off in the packaging, which it didn't, there's not a cap on this blade, so be leery of that. I do like this set screw, not that it's a number 2 Phillips, but because it's got some knurling on it. So overall, right here, just real quick, if we check this out, the handle itself, we're going to call that 4 3/4. We'll just be generous. And then the stick out here to the blade, about 1 3/4 inches, right? So we're looking at what, 5 3/4, 6.5 inches overall. That's roughly about right. So now what we have to do is see how this extends. So I'm going to pull back. So there's position 1, position 2, 3, or is this 4? I guess they count as is box stock in the package 1, and then 2, 3, and I guess we are in 4 right here. So let's see where we're at now. We've come out, we've just added about 5 inches there. So you do the math. If we have a 4.5 inch handle and 5 inch run out, that's our 9.5 inches. Now this might seem subtle to many of you, but think of going from where we were to this. All of a sudden now, if my hand goes here, the tool goes way down. It comes with an angle already built in. I think it might be worth trying out. If it sucks for what I'm wanting it to do, we can revert it to gaskets. We can also just do what Harbor Freight apparently thinks you should do with it, which is put it in paint section, right? So that would certainly come in handy there. Now, there we are. So position 2, I guess, just in case you really need to know. No one else will probably go to these links for you, so we'll do it. This is all crude too, but that's roughly 2 3/4 stick out in the second position. Our third position, we're going to be roughly 3 3/4, and then right here we're going to be roughly 4 3/4 to 5, right? So it almost jumps an inch every time. This last one I think is slightly more. We're going to shut that. Now obviously we can run the plastic blades too, which, you know, that'll be convenient for a lot of people. Now blade storage compartment, I'm trying to deduce based on this that you might think is just stylistic handle stuff, right? We are going to well, I'll be I guess you could shove one down in there. I mean, the cap comes off. There's not much we can do there. I really don't know about that. I was excited about the blade storage compartment, but now I don't know. Let's kill a little time here. This is why I guess we went faster on other things, right, today. And I'm going to carefully try to get into this without cutting myself. Alright. Come on. I know you're in here under like 6 layers of cardboard. If I could just get this out. Alright, I'm kind of worried because I'm seeing 2 blades. I know there's supposed to be 3 total. Okay. What the heck is... I don't even know. I don't know, folks. I just want to see if I can shove this plastic one in here. Why the plastic one? Why sacrifice it? I have a ton of these things. So... okay, as weird as it is, I guess this little plastic tang right there, it sort of just goes down. So when I wedge that in there, if I can do it again, it'll, yeah, I'll be danged, it'll sit there. So let's see what we can do. Man, I'm really paranoid of cutting myself with these. So we're going to take this one, and you will want to exercise extreme caution when you do this. I'm not sure that this is the best thought out thing I've ever seen, but I guess it's functional. Not sure that we will ever get this blade out. Okay, so that's sort of there. And I don't know that we can get this one in. Interesting thing, this one, which I guess is the carbon steel, it's more of like a shaver attachment. It has that rake to it. And will it fit on top of the plastic blade is my question. It might. I apologize for not showing you this, but I'm trying not to cut myself really bad. I don't know if that one's going to fit. I'll just be straight up honest with you. But let me kind of show you where we are at. And, there's the plastic one. There's one of the, I guess, stainless blades. And to get that out, I would probably use needle nose. Not to be like a total wuss or anything, but I'm just not super comfortable with that. And I'm not sure I'm comfortable with them being in the handle. But, yeah. If you need blades, you can put, I guess, 2 in there. I guess you'd pick your poison, but if you can tell right there, this one I believe again is the stainless one. Maybe not. What do I know? But this one's straight. That other one had a funky little rake to it, so let's see if it's stainless or not. I don't know what's going on there, but I do know the main thing is I've got plenty of blades, plastic and standard, and I do like the fact that I can go from this, which is, I like this just fine, and it's simple enough to get this going, and it comes out, like I said, all this length, so I'm trying kind of, there's a little flex there, but I mean, like if we're thinking of a window sticker coming in, I think it would suffice. Ultimately, as with almost everything, we just need time to use the tool, kind of see how we like it. But the handle feels really nice. It's pretty rock solid here. Obviously, as you extend, your entire strength component becomes just this little beam, and so you get pretty wobbly there. The third position, not quite as bad. Second position, that's still real solid. So 1 and 2, you're kind of home free. 3 and 4, you get a little flex in there. I don't think it's the end of the world. What I want to know from you is, A, were you able to find this? Where would you have looked for it? Again, I just had it in my mind, I think automotive with this, and so I never dreamed it would be over with the paintbrushes. Like I said, though, to my credit, I am over in the paintbrush section. I'd never seen this either, so maybe that store just put them out, or, you know, who knows. But main thing and most important, if you already have this, how do you like it? How does it compare to what you had previously? Would you recommend it? Would you say stay away? Whatever it might be, feel free to leave your comment down below. But yeah, a couple more items this time around for you. Again, the 5 amp hour battery was on the parking lot sale. little Quinn scraper. We paid full price for that, but I feel like it's worth it. These were full price as well, just a little cheaper than when we first got them. The hose clamps, really nice assortment, especially if we get in a bind or just like with mowers or something like that. That's just fine for the price, in my opinion. Test leads, I'm really excited about. And then the soldering iron, which again will become a plastic welder for me. So that's what we brought in. I think that covers everything. I can get all this packaging thrown away and out of my life, get the tools put up, and move on and have a good time. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed. Again, your thoughts on any of this experience especially, feel free to leave that down below. Anytime I get batteries, I like to date them. I'll come in this case, I'm not sure, I might have to switch to like a silver Sharpie or paint pen or something, but the old Hercules batteries have the blue color you could write on real easy. But that kind of lets me know how they're doing. I can track their progress. But as I mentioned, there's a reason I keep buying Hercules, and it's hadn't let me down yet. So maybe this will be good for the blower. That really sucks the batteries. I keep waiting for a real blower too. I use this one, the little compact job site one, as basically like a standard blower, but it's really not intended for that. But that's where the 8 amp hours would be nice for me. But anyway, I've got some cleaning to do here. Let me know your thoughts on any of this stuff, especially another thing I'm interested in. If you jumped on these when they were new or got them shortly thereafter, how have you liked them? How have they compared to, say, some of you probably have the snap-on Talon grip. Some of you probably are just comparing them to your previous slip joints. Again, not something I use a ton, but I do a lot of grabbing and pulling, and so I can switch back and forth. And I've been using them quite a bit. Like I said, I'm kind of getting them pretty dirty, so I'll bring them back here. Again, sentimental value there. And get them dirty here at the house. I tend to clean things a little better here. I'm not under like as intense of a timelines, if you will. But yeah, with that said, LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you enjoy multiple videos, I encourage you to subscribe. If you do that, ring the bell and jump your charger across the creek. YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, hope you have yourself a fantastic week, and I will catch you back here for more action from the shop.